Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you're new here, and in this video I'm going to be giving you a January homeschool update. If you are new here, I have a first grader, a preschooler, and a 2-year-old, and I'm pregnant with my fourth. I'm due in May, so we're getting closer, which is exciting. So January, I feel like, was a really productive month for us. So I think I'm going to start off this update starting with their joint subjects together, which is science and I guess read alouds, which is not exactly a subject, but we do that together. And so I'll give you an update on that because that is probably like my biggest update for this month, I think, because I talked about that in my last update. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start off with our read alouds this month. I just want to thank you guys so much for giving me your recommendations. I have a list that I am keeping that I'm really excited to start reading with the boys. We have been a lot more consistent this month. Not like as consistent as I probably would hope, but we're making some real progress and we've been reading a lot more, which is really exciting. I think it was last month, yeah, January, where I decided to stop basically all social media, all like watching YouTube videos for the most part. I think it kind of changed the way that I spend my days, which I'm including here because I feel like it really made a big difference on our read aloud journey, where I used to feel like after lunchtime I just was done. Like I just wanted to go kind of like check out a little bit. I used to watch YouTube videos after lunch once the kids were in quiet time and their naps, and it's kind of like became this thing that it's kind of like all I wanted to do, where I like had this idea that I would like to read some more books, but it just the pull of sitting down and watching a video was so much easier than obviously sitting down and reading. And so I took a break with all of that, and it really kind of reoriented the way that I view my days, and I don't feel this need to like want to check out. And so we have been doing our read alouds. I've found the best time to do it is once my daughter goes down for her nap. Technically we could do it when she's up. I tried once, and I might try again, because I usually try to start school between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, and so it gives us about 2 hours or so to do school, which should in theory have enough time to do read alouds as well as their individual subjects as well. But they do like to take breaks, and I tend to get busy with other things around the house sometimes, so it has been working to do read alouds after Melly, my daughter youngest, goes down for her nap after lunch, and it's been really refreshing. And so my big update is that we have been doing our sunlight again, which I didn't like fully plan to do. Like I always would say in these videos, like I'm hoping to get back to it, but I didn't know if we ever really would. And so we did get back to, technically it's Sunlight P, I believe. So it's the second program. And there are some stories still that we haven't read from the first one, Sunlight T, that I was going to get from the library. So I might do that before the end of the school year or into the summer. We've been reading the Millie Molly Mandy storybook, which we are enjoying. We're still reading, I think it's the Lion Bedtime Storybook. My boys love this one. It's a lot of like fables and fairy tales, and I'll leave these ones linked below because they, especially the Lion bedtime story, I forget exactly what it's called, but I'll leave them linked below in case you want to check them out because they're really cute and they have like a moral to all of the stories, and my boys love them. And so we've been reading that, and then we're starting to read a few of like the science books, which is kind of like, I guess, a science update within our read alouds. I'm just kind of deciding to read science read aloud books, which thank you to you guys who recommended doing that's what you're doing with your kids in these young ages. That feels super refreshing and kind of exactly right now. So there are a few little science books in the Sunlight program. So we're reading through, it's like an underwater one right now. I just read like a page a day, and we might eventually get back to our actual Sunlight science one, or we might just start that next year. I'm probably leaning towards starting it next year because I do really want to get to all the experiments, and that has been more challenging for me. So that's what we've been doing for science. And one more update about our read alouds is that I read the first few chapters of this, Home Learning Year by Year, How to Design a Creative and Comprehensive Homeschool Curriculum. Also, someone who commented on my December update recommended this book, and I had actually had my eye on this book before, and after you recommended it, I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to get it, because you said there was a whole bunch of recommendations of read aloud books for each subject, like history and science, and so I got that, and I actually made a whole like master list of like, I want to say it's like 100 books or something like crazy for, I think I went through the whole kindergarten chapter and wrote down all of the science and actually some math, not every single one of the math ones, or not every single one in all the categories, but a ton of them. And so I requested a bunch from the library, and we have been reading through those, and it's been so fun, and it's been like exactly what I needed to be like reinvigorated for reading aloud, because I basically kind of got like discouraged and burned out, I feel like, because when you go to the library and you just pick up books, some of them, like a lot of them sort of kind of feel like fluff, like where there isn't a lot of learning. And I know they just learn through stories, and just hearing being read to is really good for them, but I don't know, it just kind of felt like, where are the good stories? And so this book has made it like perfect, because now I have all of the like good stories that I'm looking for, and I could just request them, and we're just going to be going through the list through the rest of the year into next year and that sort of thing. So super excited about that. That's my huge read aloud update. That's our like history, science together subject update. So next, I guess I'll jump into my preschoolers update. I have my middle child right now. His name is Riley. He's 4, and we have been going through the Gather Round Preschool program. I think we have like maybe like 10 to 13 weeks left. That might even be too many. It might even be less. We're on S, so we have the rest of the alphabet to go through, and then I'm going to be going through the rest of the Good and the Beautiful, the second half of the Good and the Beautiful's preschool with him at the end of the school year, and I feel like he's making some really good progress. I'm really excited about it. It feels really crazy to be getting closer to kindergarten with him. I don't know if you have a preschool or if you feel the same. Like, I guess because he's my second too, I just like cannot believe that we're here. Like, I started homeschooling my older son 3 years ago for preschool, and like, it's just crazy to me that my second son's almost in kindergarten again, and I'm gonna like have, I don't know, I feel like a bit more, not pressure exactly, but like he needs to actually learn how to read. Like preschool, I just took it really relaxed and took it at his pace, and I'll continue to do that for kindergarten as well and stuff, but I don't know, it just feels crazy. So like I said, it's going pretty well. I feel like he is learning his letter sounds. He's definitely, I would say, not very close to having them mastered, but we still have quite a bit until the end of the year, and I'm sure we'll do some review over the summer. I keep thinking through how I wonder if he's going to be ready for the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten in the fall, or even All About Reading level 1, because he's younger than my older son is. His birthday's in January. My older son's birthday's in January, so by the time we started, I think we technically officially started in like October or November. So he was almost 5, and Riley is going to turn 5 in July. So if we start in August, like he's much younger. So I feel like I'm going to probably not start maybe an official kindergarten curriculum in the fall, but we'll see how he does the rest of this school year. I feel like some letters he's got down, and then some it's like hit or miss. So we'll see. He's doing really well though. He can count pretty good. He is learning some of the number recognition. He has a bit confused, so we're working on that as well. So something else I think I forgot to mention in our December update, I want to say that's when I started. I definitely had mentioned it before that we were going to do it, but we did start the kindergarten Good and Beautiful math, just to add a bit more math to his days, because he was excited about it. And I know it starts off really slowly. I think we made it through like lesson 9 or 10, something like that. We're not very far, and I kind of haven't been like consistent with it. We haven't done it for a little bit, so it's not like I'm making sure he's doing those every single day. It's just kind of like he has Explode the Code, he has the Gather Around Preschool, which is his main curriculum that we do every day, and then the Good and the Beautiful Math. And so depending on how long each Gather Round day takes us, which can take us anywhere from like 5 to like 15 minutes or so, I'll add in a few pages of Explode the Code sometimes, or we'll do a lesson of the Good and the Beautiful Math. I've been leaning more towards doing phonics right now, so that's why I haven't done the math lessons quite as much, but I do intend to pick them up soon because I think it's good to have him just have all kinds of practice. So yeah, that's my Riley update. That's my preschool update. I think he's enjoying the read alouds as well, and so that's been really fun. And so I will move on to my first grader's update. I guess we could start with his language arts. So I've been talking about how we've been doing kind of like a combination of All About Reading and The Good and the Beautiful. We haven't really done them much together. Like we don't do them on the same day or anything like that. Although some of you guys had some really good recommendations for how to do it on the same day. We may eventually get to that, I'm not sure. But because we focused so heavily on All About Reading in the beginning of the year, we made it to like maybe one of like 13, 14, 15, potentially even into the like low 20s of the level 2, and then I kind of added in The Good and the Beautiful. And so I've been focused on The Good and the Beautiful heavily now to kind of get him more to the middle of the school year with that, and then I'm kind of gonna piece them together. So we actually just finished the first unit of 3 for The Good and the Beautiful, so we're on the second unit. I'm hoping to finish through the whole curriculum until like through the summer if that's what it takes, but honestly I'm not super tied to that. Like if we decide to just start the last little bit in the beginning of second grade, I think that would be fine. But I definitely intend to do a lot of review with him in the summer so he doesn't forget what he's learned this year. And I do really want to continue going through All About Reading level 2 as well. So I think I mentioned a few times that I want to try to do a video of how we're doing both, but currently, like I said, I was trying to get us back up to speed on The Good and the Beautiful, and now I'll probably try to figure out a system for us to do both. So I will try to make a video on that soon. So that's kind of his language arts update. I'm really happy with where we've ended up. I feel like he doesn't need a ton of spelling or writing or grammar in first grade, but I also didn't feel great about leaving it out completely. So I like that we're using The Good and the Beautiful again. He's doing really well with it. He has learned quite a bit through it, so I'm happy with that. And I'm really happy that we have All About Reading to really like solidify everything, because that helps us to go through things in a different way sometimes, and I feel like that's just kind of key to my homeschool now. Like I feel like now that I've kind of gotten into a groove with it, I like to kind of use different resources, and I think that really has been really very freeing and hopeful for me to like help them really get through what they need to learn. So for math, I will give you an update on his Math with Confidence. We are still really enjoying it. We're on week 19, I believe, or 20. We just started today. So I'm happy with his progress. I know that there is definitely some stuff that I feel like I'm hoping to really get him to master by the end of the year, but we'll see, because I feel like I don't want to say behind, he's definitely not behind, but I think I said this in the December update as well, is that I wish we had used Math with Confidence for kindergarten, because I think he would be further along now, where he doesn't have his addition or subtraction facts memorized, which The Good and the Beautiful didn't intend for him to, but I feel like if he did the kindergarten Math with Confidence, that he would have them closer to memorized. And even like the pairs that make 10, he gets them like 8 or 9 out of 10 times. So like he's almost there, but nothing's fully mastered. And I think if he was reviewing it at a better pace last year, he would be better off now. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm hoping to get him fully up to speed by the end of the year, because I know he's about to start. Right now we're doing some measurements, like he did measuring up to the inch, and now he's doing measuring by foot. And then he's going to be doing +9 addition facts, and then I think +8 and +7. And he technically doesn't have all of his addition facts fully mastered yet from like the easier ones. And so I don't think that's like a huge problem. The book says it's okay if they don't have that yet. So I don't know how common that is. If you guys use that same curriculum and you have a first grader, where are they at like in terms of that? And did you use Math with Confidence for kindergarten as well? Because I'm curious to see if he is, I don't want to use the word behind, but like, would he be further along? Like, I think if we used a different curriculum that kind of had more like a systematic way of going through things rather than the Good and the Beautiful jumping around so much, where I liked their math last year, but I feel like now that we've switched, I kind of see where it's lacking. So yeah, that's where we're at. If we have to go through the summer and try to really solidify those facts, then that's what we'll be doing. And also, do you guys think by the end of first grade, should they have all of their addition and subtraction facts memorized? I feel like that's kind of a lofty goal, but maybe the easier ones. I don't know. I'll have to look at the end of the book too, because it kind of tells you what should be covered. I know he'll definitely do some more review in second grade, but I also know that with math, when you don't have your foundation there well, it's like as you go on, it gets harder and harder. And I kind of feel like that's how it happened for me as I was going through school. So yeah, I want to make sure I work with him well now so that he doesn't feel like math gets harder and harder as he gets older. And then I suppose I'll give you a pregnancy update as well, because I've been doing that at the end of my monthly updates, and it's just a fun way of including you in on our life. I guess it could be like a pregnancy/life update, but mostly pregnancy. I am actually 25 weeks pregnant now. It's technically the first week in February when I'm filming this, and January went really well, I feel like. I had my anatomy scan, which went really well. There was this like tiny hiccup, I guess you could say, in that they wanted me to come back because the doctor wasn't there when I was there, which is normal. But then the doctor wanted to just get a couple better pictures that the ultrasound tech just kind of didn't get a good enough picture. So I went back, I think it was last week, and I got to see the baby again, and I got some really good pictures. I wish I had them in the house so I could show you, because I'm actually really thankful that I got to go back, because they're like the best ultrasound pictures I've had with any of my kids, and it was really cool. So, and it was like a 10-minute appointment, and I got to see that everything was going well, but there was like this, like, there was a tiny chance, I guess, that like I could have had placenta previa. I wasn't worried about it because I talked to one of the doctors on the phone, and they said it didn't look like placenta previa to them, but they just wanted me to come back in so they could get a better picture. And then the ultrasound tech kind of had told me that what had happened was that I was having a contraction during the time when she was taking a picture of my placenta. And when that happens, or my cervix or something, and when that happens, it can look like you have placenta previa, but they can usually tell the difference. And so they wanted a better picture just for my file, but they kind of knew that that's what had happened. So I kind of wish they had told me that before, but I didn't actually worry about it. So I'm really thankful, because I feel like I am usually one to worry about things like that. So yeah, that's a little update. I feel like I'm really thankful so far that things have gone really smoothly. I'm just now starting to get to the point where I'm like kind of getting uncomfortable. I'm getting bigger. I've gained like 20 pounds or something at this point, so, which is like on track for how I've been with all of my other pregnancies. I usually gain like 35 pounds or so. So I kind of have been thinking about that quite a bit, like where I'm like, maybe I can try to change the way I'm eating slightly, just eating a little less carbs, so that maybe at the end I won't be super uncomfortable. Because I remember with my last baby, my daughter, she was 8 pounds 8 ounces, and she was my biggest baby by far. My next biggest baby was 7 pounds 8 ounces, so a full pound bigger. And so I'm just kind of like hoping that this baby doesn't get even bigger. So I know that that kind of could be like silly to even think about, because I think your babies are like, normally they get bigger as you go, like the more babies you have, but we'll see. We'll see how big this baby gets. And I've been trying to work out. It hasn't really been very productive. I've done a few like here and there. I just haven't been as consistent as I kind of wish that I were, but that's okay. Yeah, so I feel like now I'm starting to get, like I said, to the point where at night, I remember with all of my pregnancies, I would feel like my hips would start hurting in the middle of the night and I'd have to always like wake up to roll over. But I still have been getting like the first half of the night, like I've been sleeping really well. And then the second half, a lot of the time, not every night, luckily, I've been like waking up a lot. So I keep thinking that like any day now I'm going to be struggling a lot more with sleep, because I did struggle with sleep with all of my other pregnancies. I had like pregnancy insomnia with all of them, not fully throughout the whole pregnancy, but a lot of it. I think as I'm gonna get closer to the end, I kind of feel like that's gonna happen, but we'll see. I guess the only other thing really to update is that like I have started nesting like crazy. I feel like I have 15 weeks left, I realized, and I'm like, that's pretty soon. Like I have behind the camera here, I'm obviously sitting on my bed, and then I have this like little nook that like this half of the room is, I have my washer and dryer like closet, and then there's a good 2.5 feet or so like all the way down that we have a computer sitting here, and this is usually where I put like a rocking chair and the baby's bassinet and everything while they're in our room. And so I have been figuring out what we're going to do with the desk, because I want to move it out of here. And I think I'm going to put it where our kids have their toys. It's technically only my daughter's toys, because I have all of my boys' toys upstairs in their room. And so I'm kind of like been really trying to think through putting all of my daughter's toys in her room or like in a different area of the house. And my husband has been on board with wanting to like kind of spruce up the house a bit. I haven't really done anything to the house since I probably was pregnant with my daughter, which is like a good over 2 years ago. And so I just haven't had the motivation or like energy. I've been focused on other things. And so it feels kind of fun to have that energy back to wanting to like get the house more in order. Cause like I wouldn't say we bought a fixer upper, but we definitely bought a house that has needed a lot of work. And we have not gotten to the point where we feel like we have done all of the house projects that we want, which I'm sure we'll never fully get there. But we've been here for 5 years, and we're getting pretty close though to like feeling like we've changed the whole house to kind of like be more what we anticipated, with like painting things and that sort of thing. My husband has done some like home projects and stuff. We like gutted our bathroom. My brother worked with like a home improvement company for a little while, so he helped us. But that was a huge thing that we did. So we changed the floor a few years ago, and so yeah, we've done quite a few projects and stuff. So we're kind of like hopping back on that bandwagon. I bought some new furniture. Maybe I'll film a day in the life soon, so I can kind of show you some of the new house projects that we're working on to get ready for the baby. Oh, and we're going to be doing, one of those house projects is redoing my daughter's room, which kind of seems a little bit funny because I'm thinking she might actually end up having to move upstairs with our boys for a little while. But I'm not thinking that's going to happen until this baby is almost 1, because I generally keep the babies in our room for about a year, which sounds kind of crazy, I think, to a lot of people, but it just kind of works for us. I really like having them close, because I have this whole side of our room that I can keep them, all of their stuff in. Like I'm going to get a dresser, a new rocking chair, and then have the little bassinet over there. It usually works, so we'll see, but she should be in this room for almost a year and a half still, and then we can honestly just like paint the walls, and we're going to put up a little bit of wallpaper and stuff, so we could just change that quickly when a boy is going to go in there, I think. So I think it will be fine, but I'm really excited to do that, and she's actually excited, which has like been a huge surprise to me. Like I'm kind of glad that I never got around to doing her room sooner. Like I have wanted to for a while, but now that she's old enough, she kind of understands. Like I showed her the wallpaper we're going to use, and she asks to see it more. So it's going to be really fun and very exciting. And so yeah, that's my pregnancy / life update. We're spending lots of time working on the house in the next coming weeks. So homeschool is going really well. I'm really excited. We're back at our homeschool classes, which my older son does art and piano, and then my younger son has like a little art class and then like a preschool class where they like read and do songs and that sort of thing. So yeah, that's my update. It's going really well. I'd love to hear any update that you would like to share. I love hearing from you guys. It makes me feel like we're doing this together, especially since so many of you guys have kids that are so close or just like the same amount of kids as me, but younger, which is really fun. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.